Access to Democracy is made possible by donations from the following organizations. Thomson Reuters, a global company with expertise and insight to unravel complex situations in the areas of law, tax, compliance, government, and media. Their worldwide network of journalists and editors keep customers up to speed on relevant global events. Thomson Reuters, the Answer Company. The Division Championship Minnesota Twins are looking to go all the way to the World Series in 2024. Bolstered by inspirational shortstop Carlos Correa, a healthy Brian Buxton, and rookie phenom Royce Lewis, plus a pitching staff led by Pablo Lopez and an outstanding bullpen featuring Johan Duran, the Twins are the best bargain in the major leagues, and Target Field is the best venue in baseball. Sheridan Dulas & Kins, PA, a family and criminal defense law firm, has been serving clients in Dakota County and throughout Minnesota for over 40 years. Ranked a Tier 1 Best Law Firm by U.S. News and World Report every year since 2009, Sheridan Dulas & Kins are here to help you in your most difficult life circumstances. Established in 2007, 45th Parallel Spirits was among the first 50 micro-distilleries in the United States. Based in New Richmond, Wisconsin, all aspects of production occur at our facility. If you're interested in visiting and learning more about the 45th Parallel Distillery, please check our website and plan a visit to tour our facility and taste our spirits. Truestone Financial, with locations in Minnesota and Wisconsin, has proudly served its members since 1939. Truestone engages, educates, and supports its members to ensure they have the tools to empower their financial well-being. Truestone Financial, your neighborhood credit union. Learn more at truestone.org.
Hello and welcome to Access to Democracy. It's great to have you with us. I'm your host, Bill Raker. Today we have as guests on our program a couple of ladies from the Care Options Network. We're delighted to talk with them about what Care Options Network does, because I think they have a really important message to share with us. So our guests are Susanne Grochett, who is the director for Care Options Network, and Charlotte Hoos, the Membership Development and Sales and Marketing Officer for the organization. Ladies, we're delighted to have you on Access to Democracy.
Thank you, Bill. Happy to be here.
So let's start by sharing with our viewers what Care Options Network is. What's its mission? How did it get started? What's the history of the organization? Susanne, you want to start with that?
Absolutely. So our mission at Care Options Network really is to make aging easier. And the way that we do that is we connect local senior care professionals who are supporting older adults in our community to resources so they can support their patients and clients and connect them to housing and services specifically for their healthcare needs. So that is really what we do. We're supporting the professional who's working with older adults and behind the scenes really establishing and weaving a network of approximately 1,000 members serving older adults in our local community to really work with older adults throughout the full service of care as older adults continue to age. That's
a very significant mission, a very important mission, and we want to delve a little bit deeper into some of the things that that you do for those who use your services. But let's talk about what your role is in the network, Susanne. What do you actually do there?
Sure. So I am the director of Care Options Network, and I've been in this role for 16 years now. Care Options Network has a history of 36 years in our community.
1989, I think it was.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is right. So started as a small business, and in about the year 2000, we merged under the nonprofit Volunteers of America, Minnesota, Wisconsin. So I think it is really important to mention that we are a nonprofit. And we are, really working in a community way to support professionals working with older adults in the community. So 16 years ago I started, really just growing up, really close relationship with my grandparents, and was really attracted to working and getting to know older adults. I worked in an elder law firm for a few years and transitioned into Care Options Network, and just really have a heart for transitions that happen later in life and the really important people that need to be there in those moments when stakes are high. And we're working with, transitions for moms and dads and grandparents. It's very meaningful work.
And the people who are providing those services need the support and information and resources that your organization makes available to them.
Absolutely. Right? There are many options across housing sectors, across services for older adults. And our goal really is to create comprehensive resources that professionals can go to and really refer housing and services specifically for that client that's sitting in front of them at that time. And each of those case mixes are very unique to each of those individuals and families.
So Charlotte, tell us what your role is and how you work with the people, the organizations that use the services.
I will. I am mainly, my job focuses on membership and creating relationships with our members, making sure that they are getting their information out to the people that need their services. We always say our network is stronger the more members we have, because it's like a spider web. I mean, every little strand makes a stronger unit. So I am boots on the ground a lot of the times. I'm out meeting with people, meeting with providers, trying to educate them on the benefits of membership, being able to communicate their messages to the other members, as Susanne mentioned, the other 1,000 plus members in our network, as well as having the link for them to provide information about what they're doing to support senior housing, senior aging, senior services. I mean, there's so many examples, Bill, from nursing programs to podiatry people to the people that can come clean the drains at the assisted living if they need to at the middle of the night. I mean, it takes a village, it really does, and there are a lot of dominoes that need to stay up to keep it strong. So
you've talked about or referenced members. So describe a member. It's like a business, it's an organization, but it's not individuals?
It can be individuals that have single proprietors.
But it's still a business.
It's still a business. There are all different types. We have services for providers, which is kind of a business-to-business relationship. Services for seniors, which are the direct services that a senior might require. And that's when I mentioned someone like a foot nurse, someone that comes, an attorney, nursing services, hospice services, in-home health care services. So all of those different people make up our membership community. And it's my interest and joy to be able to connect with them and hopefully have others learn that it's a great place to be in the Care Options Network, but also communicate intra-network what people are doing.
So do you have some examples of how you market or promote the organization, the network?
I would say one of our biggest tools, well, we have three huge tools. And we have the guidebook here, the directory here.
Why don't you hold up the guidebook for the cameras to get a good shot of that.
And the directory. And then we also have an electronic newsletter that goes out every week, and we call it Network News. Some people in the industry refer to it as the People Magazine of Senior Housing, because it's where people go every week to find out what new staff, what new services, dated events, how can I get some continuing education, support groups, all different types of information and what the network, with the membership network, is doing. So those are really, I think, our three biggest tools.
And so this book has the listings of all of the members in the network and a description of the services that they provide. and it's the professional caregivers then that would refer to this book
right.
as a resource. Is that how that would work?
That's right. So I can, give an example. If my mom ended up in the hospital for, broke her hip, something of the nature, and she was being discharged, the social worker, who we refer to as angels on earth, truly, would be in a situation where they would pick up the guidebook. Mm-hmm. Social workers call this their Bible. We always say the Bible,
Sure.
the Bible lowercase b. And they would be able to page through this and be able to compare the health needs that my mom has, as well as perhaps a transitional care community that's in the quadrant of the metropolitan area that's appropriate for both my mom and family. So the social worker would be able to, essentially marry healthcare services to geographic location in order to efficiently and correctly refer my mom to a transitional care unit where she could rehabilitate there until she moved home. So the social worker is supported by the work of the guidebook and the network we're weaving, the healthcare data points that we're receiving from members, we're organizing, and we're pushing back out through the guidebook. And inadvertently, my mom's health and our family is served. And this all happens through utilizing the guidebook. And again, 1,000 members, really specific healthcare data that social workers and our members help us, determine what we actually do collect in order for them to do the job that they need to do in an efficient way. The other piece that we offer would be the directory. And this is really the consumer magazine.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
The directory, really is information in the guidebook that we, silo it down to a 145-page magazine that my mom, my dad will be able to comprehend as they move, through learning about next steps in their aging journey. So the social worker can pass this to my mom and family, and my mom and our family can use this as an education tool, as well as help navigate potential housing, assisted living, residential assisted livings, affordable housing that might be necessary, in the near or future of my mom's journey through the aging continuum.
Susanne, you did a great job of explaining the guidebook, what it is, how it's used, who uses it. Mm-hmm. And also explaining about the directories. So you've told us a lot. So Charlotte, how does one get copies of the directory?
Okay, the directory.
That's for the consumer.
Yes, the consumer magazine. We print over 30,000 of copies of the directory annually. And as Susanne mentioned, it's a distillation of the guidebook, basically. We have a very direct and thoughtful distribution of the directory. It goes through our membership. Anybody that's a member, we provide copies of the directory for them every spring when it's hot off the press, so they can use it as a marketing tool. They can help find resources if they're in it. They can show the people what's around them, what's in their neighborhood. But also, if you can't help someone, it's a great tool saying, I don't know what my mom needs, but here's a big resource for you to find.
Here's a place to start.
Here's a place to start.
Yeah.
So we also distribute it through the Senior Linkage Line, which is a state-run organization that provides information for seniors. Libraries, doctors, clinics, senior centers, community centers, these are all distribution points for this free publication.
So what's the geography that this information goes to and is used by the providers and the consumers?
Sure. So currently our distribution of both publications is primarily based in the metro area, so surrounding and greater area too, surrounding counties. Next steps, another in year 37 and 38, we're hoping to move throughout the state. And the way we're going to be doing that more is through a technical lens, more than likely. So that is really what we are imagining right now for next steps for Care Options Network.
Sure, that makes sense. And I believe there are digital or electronic versions of both of these publications
That's
available. And scrolling across the bottom of our screen is the website
Wonderful.
for the Care Options Network, where anyone can go get not only these publications in the electronic form, but other information about your network, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. So how many care providers or primary users, I guess, of your service are there?
Sure. So right now, we have just over 1,000 members.
Okay, you have 1,000 members, but are there other users that are not members?
Care management teams throughout our hospital systems, utilize the guidebook, both in the printed form as well as online. And I think that's really important news for us to hear. It's very, very special to our metropolitan community to have a go-to resource that social workers, most importantly, trust. It is so supportive for providers to be connected that way, because so many times older adults and their families are entering these transitions and not pre-planning.
Right.
So the first person that is going to refer, for instance, my mom and our family into services, more than likely is going to be a professional, whether that's a social worker in a hospital setting, it could be an elder law attorney or an estate planning attorney. That's why the network works, to make this net of providers so strong, because ultimately that is who our community is talking to first as their trusted advisor. So beyond, membership, social workers in the hospitals, as well as care managers, teams behind the providers that are listed in the guidebook that are members of Care Options Network are using the guidebook. I should also say that, at careoptionsnetwork.org, our website, all of this information is offered free of charge. No personal information needs to be shared. We are really about older adults and their families comparing apples to apples, so they can move through navigating these transitions as swiftly as possible, because it is a lot. It is a lot to understand, often in really emotional times. So we are really trying to make aging easier based on the relationships that we're establishing at a provider level, supporting providers and businesses with that information so they can go out into the community and work in the best way possible with older adults.
This is something everybody needs to know about, wouldn't you say?
I would say
Yes,
yes.
It is a wonderful mission to be a part of.
It is.
And you've mentioned that Care Options Network is a nonprofit organization,
Correct.
Which is a good thing to know, because it does represent an independence and validity for the information that you're providing. So how's the organization's operations funded?
It's a good question. So our members do pay membership dues to us. And members, consider our publications a marketing platform for them, because it truly does show their brand, and it also shows more than that. It shows the healthcare services they can provide, so a social worker can make a good referral for that particular patient in front of them at the time. So we are, in essence, a marketing platform that way, and the providers are paying for that visibility. So never will it happen where a provider refers to a service where that referral is going to initiate any sort of transaction. So there are membership dues, providers support that, and ultimately providers support this comprehensive network. And they are members, because they understand the uniqueness and how special that is in our community. And it makes them do their work better. So many of these providers have personal stories. They have found themselves serving in this industry because they've been a recipient of care as they've worked with members in their family through this, through transitions and through this journey. So it is a special community of providers understanding that work, this is high stakes work.
Sure.
And they care and they support this work by, working across competitive business lines and recognizing the importance of Care Options Network.
Charlotte, so the professional care providers who use the services and the beneficiaries of what the care providers who they serve, they never pay a fee. They never pay anything to have access to this information.
Correct. All of the information, Bill, as Susanne mentioned, is on our website, careoptionsnetwork.org. All of that information is free to anyone who wants to go visit the website. In the directory, again, that's a free publication. The guidebook, that is part of the membership dues. Each one of our members does receive a guidebook, a new one every year, which has been, every one of the members is called and updated every year. So we do the best. We always say we're only as good as our data. So we do our best to make sure that we review that with our members. And new members come on all the time. We're always excited to see how we can help them fit into the network and provide services to the people that they're interested in helping. So yeah, it is free. It is a free service. It is great information, free access.
So any interested parties who'd like to become a member are having an opportunity right now to learn
Absolutely.
about the benefit of having membership in the network. So Charlotte, you've mentioned, and Susanne as well, some of the services that are available through these members of the network.
Correct.
Housing options being one, some healthcare providers being others. You can mention some of those again, and are there some other services that these members can provide to the caregivers that you'd like to highlight?
There are so many people that do such great work in this community. And as I was trying to explain earlier, it's anybody who, the people that are helping maintain the facilities, the communities themselves, to music therapists, to people that come in and provide pet therapy. That is a great service. The different providers the pharmacies that support the people across the board that need that kind of service. So there is a plethora of service options in the books. And as we've mentioned, 1,000+ members. We'd love to have everybody connect to everybody, and they do have that opportunity. They can go online and see what's available, and we're always open to warm introductions. I love connecting people. It's a great feeling. It's a great thing to connect one member to someone else, and then they provide great service or a product or information or anything that pushes a positive experience for the people needing that information.
So the network is making aging easier. And we know we have an aging demographic, right?
Yes.
So what do you anticipate the future needs and usage of your organization's services?
The needs are very relevant right now. So, stats show 1 in 5 Minnesotans is an older adult. Older adults are now currently outnumbering school-age children. So, and also in that same realm, there is a strong need for staffing in this field to support the baby boomer generation. That's really, what we are focusing on is we want to push throughout the entire state of Minnesota. And be able to support providers as they're connecting older adults to services, older adults to housing. Again, the way we really do that in building this network, yes, we organize, we collect data. We also, though, we're relationship builders. You know, we are establishing and building a trusting relationship and supporting that across the industry with providers. So we see that being so necessary in order to support this demographic that is blossoming quickly.
So the needs are only going to increase.
That's right.
Yeah. So what's the best way for someone who wants to get in contact with the organization, other than the website, which we've mentioned? A phone number that will be on our screen. What's the best phone number to use? The
best way is there's a Contact Us button on our website. Our team is 5.5.
5.5 people?
5.5.
I was going to ask about
yes.
what your operations looked like. Okay, good.
5.5 people producing a 750-page book, supporting over 1,000 members, as well as simultaneously distilling that into a magazine. So the best way to connect with us is contact us on our website, and then ultimately we can connect to membership that way. Also, as a consumer, if you are looking at the directory, you find yourself, having a copy of that and you're referring to services, it's always helpful to tell any provider that you found them via Care Options Network.
Sure.
That is absolutely supportive to our membership base.
So we've got a couple of minutes left in our program today. We could talk on and on about this organization because it's fantastic. But I'll give each of you ladies an opportunity to share with our viewers what you think is the most important message or the most important concept or thought to take away from our program today. And Charlotte, let's start with you.
Bill, I think the most important message I want to shout out is that to be aware that this is available, these resources are available. And I thank you for having us on to spread the word, because I have worked in senior housing for about 10 years. And I worked for a lovely community, and I used the directory and the guidebook every day. So I knew the power that the information and the membership contained. But then getting on the other side of it, being able to connect those members and keep people with information and up-to-date information has always been such a positive piece. So the awareness of the resources, I guess, is my quick answer.
In 1 minute, Suzanne,
Sure.
what's your wrap-up comment?
Wrap up, twofold. First, I think it is really important for older adults in our community to recognize that this network is here, it's established, it's trusted. So look for it, ask for it. It's available here to support you. Secondly, I encourage any provider in the senior care industry to be a part of Care Options Network. We have a platform that has been nurtured for 36 years, and we want to continue doing that. And the more comprehensive we are, the better we are. It takes a village, truly.
A great story and a great mission. Thank you, Susanne, Grochett, and Charlotte, who's from the Care Options Network, for joining us here on Access to Democracy. And thank you for joining Access to Democracy.